It's like watching your kid run into the street and feeling helpless to save him from being hit by the truck.
I don't want to call attention to the camera work, to the acting, to the writing, to the music.
Rob Reiner changed Hollywood forever. As a director, he gave us When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men, and Misery. As an actor, he was meathead on All in the Family. For 50 years, Rob worked with the biggest stars in the world, and for 50 years he kept his opinions to himself. Until now.
It's fun to do, but if I had to do it over a long period of time, I think I would get very bored.
Rob comes from Hollywood royalty. His father, Carl Reiner, was a comedy legend. Rob grew up around greatness. He learned what real talent looks like and what fake talent pretends to be. He learned the difference between actors who serve the story and actors who only serve themselves. At 77 years old, Rob doesn't care about making enemies anymore. He's tired of watching mediocre actors get praised. He's sick of egos destroying good projects. And he's done pretending that Hollywood is full of professionals when it's actually full of children in expensive suits. These 10 actors represent everything Rob hates about the industry. Some refused to take direction, some treated crew members like servants, some were so unprofessional that productions nearly collapsed, and one of them cost Rob a friendship that lasted decades. The number 2 name almost got physically violent on set. So let's start with number 10 and work our way to the actor Rob despises most. 10. Alec Baldwin. Rob Reiner never directed Alec Baldwin, but he watched from a distance as Baldwin built a reputation for being impossible. The phone-throwing incident at a hotel, the voicemail where he called his own daughter a thoughtless pig, the constant fights with photographers and journalists. Rob found all of it disgusting and unforgivable. Then came the Rust shooting. Baldwin pointed a gun at a cinematographer and pulled the trigger without checking if it was loaded.
And he had him pick up the gun, and Stephen King saw that. He said,
Helena Hutchins died. And instead of taking full responsibility, Baldwin blamed everyone else. The armorer, the assistant director, the production company. He even claimed he didn't pull the trigger, which was proven false. Rob has directed dozens of films with prop weapons. He knows the safety protocols. Rule number 1 is the actor checks the weapon themselves. Always. You never trust anyone else with your safety or someone else's life. Baldwin broke that rule and killed someone. Then he acted like a victim. 9. Kevin Spacey. Rob Reiner and Kevin Spacey worked together on A Few Good Men in 1992. Spacey had a supporting role. He was professional on set and talented. Rob had no problems with him then.
Turn the electricity back on.
Could you repeat that, Sabian?
But looking back after the allegations came out in 2017, Rob feels sick about ever working with him. Multiple men accused Spacey of sexual misconduct. The stories were disturbing and credible. Spacey's career ended overnight. Rob watched it unfold and felt relief that their paths only crossed once. But he also felt guilt for not seeing the signs earlier.
Punished, and I don't think that's a great way to go. I mean, how do you feel about it, Nick?
What bothers Rob most is how many people in Hollywood knew and said nothing. Spacey's behavior was apparently an open secret for years. People joked about it at parties, but nobody did anything because he was too talented and too powerful. The industry protected him. Rob believes the Spacey situation exposed Hollywood's moral bankruptcy. The same industry that lectures America about values protected a predator for decades because he made them money. And when he finally got exposed, they all acted shocked and pretended they never knew. Rob finds that hypocrisy unbearable. 8. Mel Gibson. Rob Reiner is Jewish. Mel Gibson made anti-Semitic comments during a drunk driving arrest in 2006. He said Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. That was the end of any respect Rob had for Mel as a person or actor. They knew each other in Hollywood circles for years, never close friends but friendly acquaintances. After the arrest and the recordings of Mel's racist rants, Rob cut off all contact. He publicly condemned Gibson and said Hollywood shouldn't forgive him or give him more chances. But Hollywood did forgive him. Gibson directed Hacksaw Ridge and got Oscar nominations. He returned to acting in big films. The industry welcomed him back because he's talented, and talented people get infinite second chances.
Before this war's over, I'm going to kill you.
Rob found that decision disgusting. What makes Rob angriest is how people defended Gibson, saying he was drunk, saying everyone deserves redemption. Rob believes some things are unforgivable. You don't accidentally become a bigot when you drink. Alcohol reveals who you really are. Gibson revealed himself, and Hollywood decided it didn't matter. 7. Charlie Sheen. Rob Reiner directed The American President in 1995. Charlie Sheen wasn't in it, but Rob knew him from Hollywood circles.
And suggests that being president of this country was to a certain extent about character. And although...
Back then, Charlie was already difficult but still functional. Rob watched over the next 15 years as Charlie turned himself into a walking disaster. The public meltdown on 2.5 Men became international news. The tiger blood rants, the goddesses living in his house, the complete psychological breakdown broadcast on every media platform. Most of Hollywood stayed silent. Rob spoke out and called Charlie's behavior pathetic and sad.
But, even though I've had a lot of experience making movies.
What bothered Rob wasn't just the drug use or the bizarre statements. It was how Charlie turned his mental breakdown into entertainment. He charged money for people to watch him rant on stage. He sold his dysfunction as a product, and people bought it. Rob believes Charlie represents Hollywood's sickness. The industry creates monsters by giving them unlimited money and zero consequences. Then, when they inevitably implode, everyone acts surprised. Charlie was enabled for decades. His breakdown was predictable and preventable, but nobody cared enough to stop it. 6. Jared Leto. Rob Reiner heard the stories about Jared Leto's method acting. The dead rats. They used condoms, staying in character 24 hours a day. Rob found all of it juvenile and disrespectful to real filmmaking and the people who work on sets. Rob has worked with actual method actors. Dustin Hoffman, Kathy Bates, James Caan. They prepared intensely and lived inside their characters. But they never tortured their co-workers. They never made everyone else miserable to prove how dedicated they were. According to people in Rob's circle, he was asked once about possibly working with Leto. Rob declined immediately. He said he doesn't have patience for actors who confuse being difficult with being talented. Real actors make the process easier, not harder. What Rob finds most annoying is how the industry praised Leto's behavior. Critics called it commitment and fearlessness. Rob called it what it actually was: an entitled actor with an oversized ego thinking he's more important than everyone else on set. That's not art. That's narcissism. 5. Russell Crowe. Rob Reiner and Russell Crowe could have worked together multiple times. Rob was offered projects with Crowe attached. He passed on all of them. The reason was simple. Rob heard too many stories about Crowe's temper and violent outbursts. The phone-throwing incident at a hotel made international news. Crowe got angry at a hotel employee and threw a phone that hit the man in the face. He was arrested and charged. That wasn't an isolated incident. Stories of Crowe fighting with directors, producers, and journalists were common. Rob believes there's no excuse for violence. You can be passionate about your work without assaulting people. Crowe's defenders said he was just intense and committed to his craft. Rob said that's nonsense. Plenty of actors are intense without being physically dangerous. What bothers Rob most is how Hollywood forgave Crowe quickly. He kept getting major roles and big paychecks. The industry sent a clear message. Violence is acceptable if you're talented enough. Rob finds that message morally bankrupt and professionally irresponsible. 4. Sean Penn. Rob Reiner is politically active. He speaks out about issues and supports causes. But he finds Sean Penn's brand of activism annoying, self-righteous, and counterproductive. Penn treats every political statement like he's Moses delivering commandments from the mountain.
We are dependent on our Congress, but our Congress is dependent on us, and we're going to come out here.
Penn goes to war zones and meets with dictators. He writes articles positioning himself as a deep thinker on global issues. He acts like his celebrity makes him qualified to solve international conflicts. Rob finds this kind of celebrity activism embarrassing and harmful. They've been at the same political events and fundraisers for years. People who witness their interactions say the tension is obvious. They're on the same side politically, but can't stand each other personally. Penn takes himself too seriously. Rob thinks Penn's ego undermines the causes he claims to support. What really annoys Rob is Penn's history of violence combined with his moral preaching. Penn has multiple assault arrests. He allegedly tied up and abused Madonna, though she later downplayed it. You can't preach about justice and human rights while having a history of hurting people. That's hypocrisy at its worst. 3. Tom Cruise. Rob Reiner respects Tom Cruise's work ethic and dedication to stunts. But he can't respect someone deeply involved in Scientology, the organization's documented abuse of members, the disconnection policy that destroys families, the exploitation and manipulation. Rob finds all of it horrifying. What makes it worse is how Tom uses his fame to recruit for Scientology. He's not just a member, he's an active promoter. He brings people into an organization that has ruined countless lives. Rob believes that makes Tom complicit in their abuse. They've crossed paths at industry events for 40 years. Rob keeps his distance. He's polite but cold. He would never work with Tom on a project. Not because Tom isn't talented, but because Rob couldn't stomach collaborating with someone who supports what he considers a dangerous cult. Rob has been asked in interviews about possibly directing Cruise. He always gives diplomatic non-answers. But people close to Rob know the truth. He thinks Tom is a phenomenal actor who sold his soul and his integrity to an organization that destroys people. And no amount of box office success makes that acceptable. 2. Jack Nicholson. This one hurts Rob deeply. Jack Nicholson and Rob Reiner were friends for decades. They worked together on A Few Good Men.
Follow orders or people die. It's that simple.
Jack's performance as Colonel Jessup is legendary. The "you can't handle the truth" scene is one of cinema's greatest moments. They should have worked together again. But something changed. According to people close to both men, the break came gradually. Jack became more isolated and difficult. He stopped returning calls. He backed out of projects at the last minute. He became unreliable in a way that destroyed trust. Rob tried to stay connected. He reached out repeatedly. But Jack pushed everyone away. Not with anger, just with distance. The man who used to be generous and social became a ghost who only appeared at Lakers games. What broke Rob's heart was watching Jack retire out of fear. Jack was afraid of memory loss and embarrassing himself. So he just stopped working. Rob believes that was cowardice from someone he once thought was fearless. The Jack he knew would have kept working until he physically couldn't. The Jack who disappeared chose safety over art. 1. Woody Allen. This is the name that makes Rob Reiner's blood boil. Woody Allen. The director Hollywood protected for decades despite credible allegations of child sexual abuse. Rob has been one of Allen's most vocal critics, and he doesn't care who that offends. Dylan Farrow accused Woody of molesting her when she was 7 years old. Multiple investigations happened. The situation was complicated, but credible evidence suggested something terrible occurred. And Hollywood mostly ignored it because Woody made prestigious films. Rob watched actors line up to work with Woody. Scarlett Johansson, Kate Winslet, Timothée Chalamet before he backed out. All of them knew the allegations. They worked with him anyway because it was good for their careers. Rob finds that morally reprehensible. What makes Rob angriest is how the industry defended Woody, the same industry that claims to care about abuse and believes victims. They made an exception for Woody because he was Woody Allen. They decided his art mattered more than Dylan Farrow's trauma. At 77 years old, Rob Reiner isn't making many more films. He's spent his capital and burned his bridges by speaking uncomfortable truths. These 10 actors continue working or retired with their legacies mostly intact. The industry forgave them or ignored their crimes, and Rob watched it all happen with growing disgust. Maybe he's too harsh. Maybe he expects too much. Or maybe he's right. Maybe Hollywood needs more people willing to call out the monsters instead of protecting them. What do you think? Do these 10 actors deserve Rob's hatred? Or is he just a bitter old director who can't accept how the industry changed? Drop your opinion in the comments and subscribe for more Hollywood truths that nobody else dares to say.